When Things Go Wrong in a Condo. This is a John's retirement travel blog production. I'm looking up at the mirror because there's a lot of watermarks and things are coming apart of the mirror. Things that we didn't expect to be happening. This is the shower with the tiles removed and waterproofing put in.
Hi, this isn't the main reason that I'm writing this video about things going wrong in the condos, but this is something that they didn't really seem to do right. So at least I'd point it out, because it seems like they're pretending to do something that they're not. And there's this quote, the exercise area. Yeah, some places have indoor, they have bikes and stuff. This is their outdoor thing. You can see this thing moving back and forth. It's everything, if you read about exercise and benefits, they always talk about resistance training. Like there's a certain amount of resistance you're doing to help your muscles and move your oxygen. Well, this thing, as you can see, my hand here, there really is no resistance at all. It just moves back and forth. It's like flapping your hands to pretend like you're lifting weights or something. It's sort of a they call it placebo effect. You think you're doing something, but you're not really doing it. The other one is similar, but different. There's like two little foot places. One of them has fallen off, but if I put my foot here and push it, it will move a little bit. You can see it's moving a while there, but it's not like really what you call resistance exercise. It's far from that. I'm just making a point that I don't mean to degrade the people involved. Managers and stuff here really don't have any authority. They're not the ones that buy this. This comes down from higher up. They say this is what you're getting, and they go along with it. So the other thing is still bumping back and forth. It hasn't really slowed down much. You haven't got any resistance in. This one, well, you can get up here and try. You can move your hands back and forth here, and just moving your hand up there, you'll see that yes, you can get things to move, but it's not like a big resistance training, which working out is supposed to be. Maybe people don't know that and they just don't want to say anything about it. But it's sort of one of those things that I call a pretend amenity. Hi, this is John with John's Travel Adventures, John's Retirement Vlogs. And I wanted to do this video about when things go wrong in a condo. I know when I first told people years ago I was buying a condo here, some of them were talking about problems with leaks and determining who was at fault and what was there. And, it all sounded, well, I guess it could happen, but what are the odds it's going to happen to me? It's like, usually there's stories and they pass on. But when things do happen, at least I'd like to at least share my story and how things went and what was done about it, so people get an idea how things could be. And so the first thing is that a couple of years ago, during the pandemic, I wasn't here for a year, actually about 2.5 years. But we did get an email about, oh no, there's a leak somewhere, so it's coming from below your place, so we need to go and check it out. And they wanted to be sure, that our space was being respected, so they had someone videoing, they clicked the lock, they came in, they video things, they ran things. And I guess everything worked out okay, because we didn't hear a whole lot after that until we eventually showed up. And then while we were there for at least 8 months or so, we didn't really hear much about that again. And then, time to leave, go back to California, and after being gone a few months, we get another video. Sir, there's a leak coming from your place. We need to go and check that out, because the people downstairs don't really like that. Now, one of the things that crossed my mind about that is that, well, you can turn the water off at your unit. So when we're not there, there's no water running, theoretically, unless their valves don't work. And I think they probably do work, but it's just sort of a matter of, there's a problem somewhere, But I wonder, is it really our problem if the only time there's a problem is when we're not there and our water's turned off? That would make me think I wouldn't worry too much about that as being a big problem. But anyway, so we came back, and the new engineer, building engineer, and he seemed like a nice guy. I don't want to mention names at all for anybody because it's not these people's fault. They're just doing their job. Things could go on anywhere, and they seem to be helping. But we had a few complaints about how things were done. Not just in the building, but they recommended they should just have a list of 3 people to do the work, and we picked one of the 3 people that they recommended doing the work. And there's some things we weren't happy about, and some things we asked them to do right that they really did not want to do at all. And that was sort of annoying to us. But well, what are you going to do? You know. So, but the engineer said, well, there was a leak from our place going downstairs, and we should get it fixed. One of my questions was, and he could recommend someone that was good quality to do the work, and that's nice. But I remember the guy before recommended someone that was good quality, and it didn't really turn out to be that way. In fact, once I was with him and he was checking the lines and dumped a whole lot of water in my shower down there to see what it would do downstairs, and it seemed like it didn't do anything downstairs. Like somehow it was not really, to me it seemed like it wasn't coming from our place. And he was sort of insistent that, well, there was some waterproofing, it will probably delay it a couple of years, but it'll be back. So you need to get someone to take the tiles out of your shower and waterproof it and put the tiles back in, which is not like an easy job. But after a while, I'm thinking, okay, I'll get this guy out of our hair to do it. So we gave him the go-ahead to do it. And then the first thing I get, well, because they wanted this done, wasn't urgent. Well, since you're getting this work done, you need to put a 20,000 peso bond there in case something goes wrong with the contractor. And to me, it's like, well, if the guy is recommended and he's good and they're recommending him, why should I have to pay a bond to have him do the work and pay for the work out of my pocket? It really didn't seem like a fair situation. But that seems like how they do things there. And so we finally said, okay, I paid way ahead of my rent and fees and stuff here, maintenance fees, whatever. So they should be able to just use that towards the thing. It made sense to me, but they really said it was not really in their rules to do it that way. So anyway, we're negotiating and trying to get someone with authority to let that happen.
So about this time, I got an email, supposedly from the property manager, and it said, final notice, urgent rectification work for leaked piping affecting unit number blah blah, the floor below us basically. Dear Mr. Anyway, John, we are writing to address a critical and long-standing matter concern the leak piping into your unit, which has been adversely affecting the unit directly below your unit. It necessitates immediate rectification to work to begin to prevent further damage and inconvenience to the people and damage. In accordance with our building rules and regulations, we hereby request that we do the necessary rectification work, including repair cost of the damaged ceiling and any other affected areas within the next 3 days from receipt of this letter. Should you fail to do this through the property manager's office within 3 days notice, you will be deemed liable for the work, and you have to pay for the repairs. Your prompt attention to this matter is maintaining a safe and harmonious place. Should you require any further issuance of additional things, please call me. Here's an email address and a telephone number. Now that sort of caught me for a loop. One is because I never talked with this guy before. I've never had an email personally from him. I've had one about parking for the building that everybody gets. But a final notice, we've never discussed this matter. Matters never come up. So I did send an email back where it came from about, the fact that, when we weren't there, they say there's a leak. When we are there using water, there's never been a problem with a leak. So, and I tried a few emails, and no one ever responded to anything I said for that, in this 3-day thing. And I did read the property rules, and they quote, and if you create a problem and damage something, yeah, there's a certain liability, but not if it's coming from somewhere else. And, we got that letter just about when I was heading to Malibu for a couple of weeks, so I wouldn't be around. And should I shorten my trip? I just arrived. No, I didn't want to do that. But anyway, so that sort of gave me this urgent matter. And right about that time, we came back from our trip to Malibu, and boy, our bathroom was horrible. There was water marks all over. Things around the mirrors were coming off. It's like there was a major leak, but it certainly wasn't from our place. And the fact they could just say it's your place and want to charge you for that sort of had me scared and spooked a bit. It's like, there should be some due process you go through before they charge you for fixing something that you didn't even cause. In fact, if we hired someone to take all that stuff out, it wouldn't have affected the leak at all, because the leak came from the floor above us. We did want to get something resolved and not be on the outskirts. And before we got back with the leak, we'd already agreed to hire a contractor. Now, they did say that if we hired a contractor, they wanted a 20,000 peso bond in case the contractor did something wrong. And I didn't really like that idea, because they were the ones recommending the contractor, and I think they'd recommend someone that they'd be sure of their quality of work. And I did meet directly with the property manager. He was very friendly and happy to get things worked out. And in fact, we had a guy coming, and so they did take all our tiles out, I guess, on a Monday morning. And we were about a week without a shower, basically. There are some showers in the pool. You can go in a tiny room and take a shower there. But somehow they have managed to have no coat hangers at all. So you're in a room and you can't, with a shower head and water on the floor, but all your clothes and stuff, is not really hung on anything, which was sort of annoying. But eventually we got that back. And I think they've worked on the unit above us, so there shouldn't be any further leaking. This is the top, and you can see some things hanging down. These are from around the mirror. Yeah, there's other places like that. And they had an administrative fee of 2,500 pesos in order to use what we were using as money for the bond. And so they're making money on the deal anyway, and we're paying for the work. And the contractor also fixed all these watermarks where the leak had been on the roof, which we paid for, but at least it's comfortable and nice and done with. We don't have any ongoing battles with anybody. And our neighbors were very kind and understanding below us, even though they realized the water really wasn't coming from our place. And here's the shower all finished with new tiles on the bottom and some of the sides, and the new drain. It all looks nice and everything. Then sometimes I still wonder about that 20,000 peso bond, that if I didn't do the work myself, they said they were going to do it. They didn't mention the bond. So maybe I should have held off and let them cover it. But the bond I got waived anyway.